All right, folks, Yishai Fleischer here. Former Prime Minister of Israel, Naftali Bennett, was on Fox News, and they lobbed some tough questions at him. Let's see how he did.
Former Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett. Mr. Bennett, welcome.
Hi there.
So your prime minister has called for expanding settlements into the Israel-occupied Golan Heights. What's the impact of that?
Whoa, 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 whoa. What kind of question is that? Sometimes Fox will not be very foxy. It's like, what was that about? Israel occupied Golan Heights. Whoa, that's like language from the far left. That is certainly not language that we should accept. Let's see how Naftali answered that.
Sir?
Well, those aren't settlements. It's towns and communities in the Golan Heights that have been ours since 1967. They are no more settlements than New Jersey and New Haven are settlements in the United States. It's part and parcel of Israel. President Trump has recognized the Golan Heights as part of Israel, and that's behind us.
What are your concerns about a power?
Great point about President Trump recognizing the Golan Heights. Not that we need it, right? Like the recognition of the Golan Heights that was done in 1982 by Israel. We asserted sovereignty over it. Some people say the word annex, but that's not the proper word. We asserted sovereignty. We recognized it as part of Israel. So that doesn't fit our narrative, certainly, but it also doesn't fit the narrative of the law of the United States, which recognizes the Golan Heights as part of Israel. So kudos to former PM Bennett for hitting that so fast, so sharp, and making that point on Fox. Let's keep going.
Vacuum in Syria.
Well, obviously, it's our nearby neighbor, so we very much care who's going to run the show there. And there's a bunch of groups. There's good groups, such as the Kurds and perhaps the Druze. And then you have Julani, who is an alumni of Al-Qaeda, and is now speaking very softly, but we do not trust him yet. That would take a long, long time. Only his actions would prove whether he's a moderate or he remains an Al-Qaeda terrorist.
Great point about Jolani, but I think that he kept the door open there, right? Okay, former Al-Qaeda guy, but now maybe talking differently, maybe growing up. And there's an opportunity there, potentially, but we're going to keep our eyes peeled. We're going to keep a lookout to see what exactly is happening there. And it's a dangerous situation for Israel. And so Israel's got to take military action, but keep the door open. And that's what he basically said. He's like, listen, we're here to talk. We're willing to talk with our neighbors. We're willing to seize opportunities for normalization. But, we're folks that have been under attack for a long time. We know the jihadist ideology. And we also know that in jihadism, you could have like a short-term peace called a hudna until you're strong enough to attack. So we're going to keep our eyes open, and we're going to hold on to strategic points. We're going to destroy parts of major parts of the Syrian threats against us. And we'll see what these new groups are doing. I think we're all happy that Assad is gone. But the question is, what's going to fill that vacuum?
Said that Israel is doing exactly what is necessary about Syria. Would you explain that?
Well, Israel has done two things. We've destroyed about 80% of Syria's air defenses, air force, navy, and chemical and strategic weapons. We did this throughout the past several days. This is almost unprecedented, a very impressive action. Why'd we do it? We did this because we don't know who's going to run the show. And if we have a ISIS-type regime running Syria, the one thing we want to be sure is they don't have the tools to cause a lot of harm around.
You know, the truth is, though, we should have never allowed our enemies to have those threats against us in a Assad regime as well. And we've seen what happens when you let your enemies build up military infrastructure underneath your nose, with verbiage that says that they want to destroy Israel. And the Assad regime may have been, rather quiet about that, but they allowed the Iranian regime to travel through Syria and into South Lebanon and bring in rockets and weapons and high-tech weapons and drones and Coronet rockets, et cetera, et cetera. And so we should have never allowed that to happen in the first place. Israel has simply no right or ability to allow its enemies to arm themselves against us. We simply have to stop them, cut them off at the pass, make sure that they don't do that, and they don't develop those dangers. Now Israel saw an opportunity with the fall of the Assad regime, and we did what we should have done a long time ago, which is to destroy that armament.
The second thing we did is we entered Syria several kilometers inward and took defensive posts so we can ensure that there's a buffer between radical jihadi terror organizations and Israeli citizens living on the Golan Heights.
Israel is closing its embassy in.
So therefore, we have taken more land. And you could call it a buffer zone. You could call it a military defensive zone. You could call it whatever you want. But the bottom line is that Israel has grown now and has pushed into Syria, has taken the ancient Jewish mountain of the Hermon, the mountain range, the Hermon mountain range. And that's the right thing to do. A bigger Israel means a smaller jihadist power base and more of our ability to control what our potential enemies might be doing. And that's what we got to do in order to survive. It's not about land grab. It's about simple survival in this region. And as you can see, things shift in this region. They shift a lot. They shift dramatically. And so we've got to shift along with that. And the opportunity came, and I'm very glad that Prime Minister Netanyahu was able to seize that opportunity. Now on to the Irish issue.
Ireland, an interesting dust-up between Israel and Ireland over what Israel describes as Ireland's, quote, extreme anti-Israel policies. The Irish Prime Minister has apparently said that if Prime Minister Netanyahu were to set foot on Irish soil, that he would have him arrested. What do you make of that?
I think the Irish government is acting horribly and indeed in the most vicious and mean way. What are we doing here in Israel? We're fighting defensive battles for the past year and a half. On 7 fronts, we were attacked. We didn't attack or preempt anywhere, neither in Lebanon nor in Gaza, nor with Yemen or Syria or Iraq or you name it. And we're defending not only ourselves, but we're defending the West because we are fighting the most crazy jihadi terror organizations on earth. We're the ones shooting them. We're the ones killing them. When we kill Al-Qaeda type terrorists, that's one more Al-Qaeda guy who won't reach the beaches and shores of the United States or Ireland for that matter.
You know, the only thing I want to say here, I think Naftali's doing a great job. I don't like that term, the West. You know, there's a lot of countries that are anti-jihad that are not the West. It might be the UAE. Is that the West? It might be Poland. Is that the West? It might be Hungary. Is that the West? I'm not sure. I think we have to talk about freedom-loving countries, countries of freedom. And the word democracy is also not exactly correct because not all these countries are exactly democracies. I think we have to talk about freedoms, countries of freedom, countries of rights, countries of liberties. And we are fighting the jihad from taking over the countries of freedom and part of the Abrahamic Alliance. And that Abrahamic Alliance is broad today. So other than that, I think that Naftali's making a great point, which is, hey, we're fighting jihadism, and Ireland's on the wrong side of the issue. And ironically, the jihad would love to take Ireland as well. It's already taking over Europe. But Ireland is on the wrong side of the issue. And when I say Ireland, I mean the government of Ireland and many people in Ireland. But there are also many people who stand with Israel. I get messages from folks in Ireland all the time. And I think that Israel did a great job of pulling out pulling our embassy out of Ireland. We should do the same thing with the UN. We should pull our permanent mission from the UN because it's an anti-Semitic body. So if you're willing to leave Ireland, so leave the whole UN. And you know what? You're not going to suffer. It'll be fine. There are other countries around the world like Taiwan who are not part of the UN. They survive. So I really think that we should take this example and take it further into really getting out of places that just hate Israel and hate the Jewish people.
So I think Ireland should be helping Israel, should be thanking us for fighting the war of the West and certainly not condemning or arresting our prime minister. Are they crazy?
Former Prime Minister Naftali Bennett, thank you so much for your time and your analysis today, sir.
Thank you very much, Mike.
Okay, great job, Naftali Bennett on Fox News. I really liked his answers. Short, tight, I really like that reminder that the Golan Heights is Israeli and recognized as such. And Israel should do the same thing in Judea and Samaria. We should get rid of the Palestinian Authority. We should stop paying any money into that evil organization, that anti-Semitic terror organization that's corrupt to the hilt. Forget it. We should really take steps forward. This is a time of steps, of big steps forward. October 7th was a paradigm breaker. It's time to break out of old paradigms, two-state solution, supporting the PA, break out of those. And same thing with the election of Donald Trump. It's a paradigm breaker. It's time to shift into gear of changing things. And of course, what has happened on the Golan Heights and the Hermon mountain range is also a paradigm shift. And that is the right way to go. A bigger and stronger Israel will make more safety for the peoples of this region, more safety for people around the world. Great job, Naftali Bennett on Fox. God bless you folks wherever you are. Don't forget to support what we do by going to fightforisrael.org, where we beautifight for the land of Israel. We've got many projects there that you could be part of, supporting, including buying tractors for farmers and doing a lot of things to beautify and strengthen the land of Israel. And if you love our broadcasting, please support us through buymeacoffee.com/Yishai. God bless you wherever you are. Let's go big and go home and go with God. So let's keep that fight going. God bless you wherever you are. Stay tuned. Stay calm. Stay part of the story because it keeps going strong. Lots of love from the land of Israel, and shalom.